At the very heart of the 2025 season, with Anfield buzzing with expectation and Arne Slot's name echoing as the new tactical architect of the Reds, Liverpool finds itself in a moment of intense reflection and perhaps even slight unease. After all, how can a team with such a proud defensive tradition, one that for years was synonymous with solidity and tactical discipline, now appear so vulnerable at the back? The numbers don't lie. Just 7 matches played and already 9 goals conceded. An alarming jump compared to the same stage of last season, when the defence had allowed a mere 2. This glaring difference isn't just statistical, it's a flashing warning sign that something is out of alignment and that the issues run much deeper than the defenders or the goalkeeper. In truth, the root of this defensive instability seems to lie further forward, precisely where one would least expect it, in the figure of one of the club's greatest modern icons, Mohamed Salah. Alan Pardew, a seasoned former manager in English football and an ever-sharp tactical observer, hasn't hesitated to point, delicately but firmly, to what he calls a growing problem. In his words, delivered with the experience of someone who has led teams under the highest pressure, Salah, valued at an impressive £34 million, is paradoxically becoming a kind of defensive ball and chain for his teammates. That might sound shocking at first. After all, we're talking about a player whose offensive genius has carried Liverpool to memorable triumphs, including domestic and European titles. But modern football demands more than individual brilliance. It demands collectiveness, sacrifice, and positional intelligence, especially when the tactical system relies on high pressing and rapid transitions. Under the visionary leadership of Arne Slot, who took the helm of the Reds promising an even more dynamic and vertical brand of football, Salah was freed from much of his defensive workload. The idea was clear: keep the Egyptian positioned in the final third, ready to explode into lethal counterattacks using his pace, goal-scoring instinct, and clinical finishing. Last season, this strategy worked like a Swiss watch: efficient, precise, and relentless. Salah continued to be a goal machine, and Liverpool cruised confidently through their competitions. However, football, like life, rarely repeats its chapters exactly. In 2025, the picture has changed. Opponents have adapted, studied the Reds' movement patterns, and found gaps, especially down the flanks and in the space Salah leaves when possession is lost. And therein lies the dilemma: to what extent can individual brilliance outweigh collective stability? Alan Pardew, speaking to TalkSport, went straight to the point. Salah, who's getting so much stick from the press for his defensive work in that wide area, is doing much the same defensive work he did when we were winning every week last year and scoring 20-odd goals or whatever it was. But obviously now it's becoming a problem. The statement carries a painful irony. What was once part of a winning formula now threatens to undermine the team's tactical foundation. And, intriguingly, Pardew is not alone in this view. Respected voices across the football world, from former players to tactical analysts, have echoed the same concern. There is a quiet, uneasy consensus that something needs to change, and quickly, if Liverpool are to stay in the title race.
But here lies another fascinating layer to the story. Is it really fair to place all the responsibility on Salah's shoulders? After all, he's merely following the manager's instructions. If Arne Slot has decided the Egyptian should remain further up the pitch, that's a result of a clear tactical vision, not negligence. Perhaps then, the real challenge is to find balance, a middle ground between preserving Salah's offensive potency and ensuring the defensive structure doesn't crumble like a castle without walls. Modern football demands that even forwards act as first defenders, pressing high, closing passing lanes and forcing mistakes. When an elite player like Salah doesn't contribute to that collective effort, even if by tactical design, the domino effect can be devastating. And it's within this context that one of the most provocative questions surrounding Liverpool arises. What if Salah were dropped? Yes, it sounds absurd, almost heretical, to even consider sidelining a player who has scored more than 200 goals for the club, who is adored by the fans and revered worldwide. But modern football is merciless with sentiment. It demands results. Interestingly, Arne Slot has already given a subtle sign that he's willing to make tough decisions. In the Champions League match against Galatasaray, Salah was surprisingly left on the bench. Although the result, a draw, carried no major tactical consequences, the gesture spoke louder than words. It was a clear message: no one is untouchable, not even a living legend. Moreover, there's another crucial factor that cannot be ignored: age. At 33 years old in 2025, Salah is entering the twilight of his elite career. His body, no matter how well maintained, doesn't respond as it once did. Consecutive fixtures, long competition runs, international travel, all of it demands smart minute management. Slot, known for his methodical and data-driven approach, understands this better than anyone. Perhaps more than a tactical punishment, the benching against Galatasaray was a way to rest Salah for more decisive battles ahead. But the fans, ever passionate and impatient, don't see numbers or long-term planning. They see the heart of the team, the ultimate symbol of the Klopp era, now under new management. And it's within this context that one of the most provocative questions surrounding Liverpool arises. What if Salah were dropped? Yes, it sounds absurd, almost heretical, to even consider sidelining a player who has scored more than 200 goals for the club, who is adored by the fans and revered worldwide. But modern football is merciless with sentiment. It demands results. What makes this situation even more intriguing, football fans, is that it might in fact be the catalyst for a new tactical evolution. What if Slot is testing the system's limits? What if, by temporarily exposing the defense, he's forcing Salah and the entire squad to discover new ways to contribute? Perhaps the Dutch coach is willing to risk some early stumbles in order to build something more robust in the long term. After all, great transformations are rarely smooth. They require courage, patience, and, above all, mutual trust between coach and players. What makes this situation even more intriguing, football fans, is that it might in fact be the catalyst for a new tactical evolution. What if Slot is testing the system's limits? What if, by temporarily exposing the defense, he's forcing Salah and the entire squad to discover new ways to contribute? Perhaps the Dutch coach is willing to risk some early stumbles in order to build something more robust in the long term. After all, great transformations are rarely smooth. They require courage, patience, and, above all, mutual trust between coach and players. There is, however, a glimmer of hope that keeps supporters breathing easier: Salah's ability to reinvent himself. Throughout his career, he has proved to be far more than just a finisher. He's an intelligent player with sharp vision, creative instincts, and above all, an exemplary professional attitude. If there's any footballer capable of adjusting his game without losing his essence, it's Mohamed Salah. Perhaps he just needs a signal, an open conversation with Slot, to understand that his role now demands a little more defensive commitment, not as punishment, but as evolution. Meanwhile, Anfield watches, waits, and believes. Believes that the magic will continue, that the goals will keep coming, but also that the net won't ripple at the wrong end so often. Because ultimately, Liverpool in 2025 isn't just chasing victories. It's trying to redefine its identity under a new leader, balancing tradition and innovation, past and future, individuality and unity. And in that delicate balance, every decision, every position, every minute on the pitch could be the difference between becoming champions or just another elite team that fell short. The story is still being written, and as always in football, the next chapter promises to be electrifying.